Welcome to the Cartia Empire, home to the most powerful nobles around. At Duke Wester's estate, a lady reports things are going perfectly to plan. The Duke is the Emperor's icy right hand and a famously cold-blooded leader. Lexion Rosenwester is gorgeous, but he's basically a human ice cube. Our heroine is currently sobbing, begging this mysterious hunk for a secret deal. He just sips tea, totally heartless, while she proposes a marriage. She's kneeling in total humiliation, desperate for the Duke to say yes. Lexion's been a bastard black sheep since birth in this judgy society. To secure his rank, he reportedly eliminated his own brother. Yikes. He's a heartless war god who sent thousands straight to their graves. He's a legendary killer who still dares to defy the imperial throne. They call him the Emperor's hunting dog, now facing a marriage proposal. The Duke approaches our main character with his trademark poker face. He guesses she really wants a divorce. Poor Sereniel Vertile is desperate. Serenel's hope is fading fast. This plan is becoming a total disaster. She swears it's a win-win, but the Duke is highly skeptical. He asks why, and she reveals her secret, a magical mineral mine. These crystals are ultra-valuable, a total jackpot, if she can reclaim them. Once she's divorced, she promises to split the massive profits with him. He's still not impressed, leaving her hopeless as he steps closer. With eyes colder than winter, he says he doesn't want just any mine. Actually, he's way more interested in the tea regarding her husband. Mentioning Callie and Helcar terrifies her, but Lexion demands the honest truth. Serenel flinches as traumatic memories of her husband flood back in. She remembers sobbing at a grave when her husband played the hero. He claims she'd ruin her health. Classic manipulator behavior, if you ask me. He acted all sweet, wishing he could just carry her sadness instead. Back then, the blonde beauty saw him as her only light. At 16, she became an orphan overnight after a tragic accident. He was just a childhood friend, but she felt she owed him everything. He promised to protect her, appearing like a savior in the dark. Without him, she didn't think she could even keep living. So she chose marriage and ran to her only living relative. But Count Vetter wasn't about to let her marry a nobody. He called Callie a beggar, but she defended her penniless crush. She begged for a chance, but her uncle just burst out laughing. He thought it was a joke. Surely she had something serious to say. Marrying a broke Viscount's son? He thought she'd lost her mind. But she didn't care about money. She just wanted her fairy tale. No dowry needed. She was sure they'd be fine regardless. Her mother's mind was enough, so her uncle finally gave in. The wedding was beautiful, and Callie promised her eternal happiness. She married her first love, surrounded by cheers and fake smiles. Her bestie Larry gave her a huge hug, gushing over the bride. Serenel was so grateful her friend was there for the big day. Sereniel's eyes sparkled with genuine joy. These childhood sisters were inseparable, and receiving her bestie's blessing felt like a dream. Our heroine was walking on sunshine. For one fleeting moment, she truly felt like the world's luckiest bride-to-be. She fell for the fairy tale hook, line, and sinker now. She realized she was just the pathetic clown in their play. She thought Callion's heart beat only for her. Spoiler alert, a nightmare was waiting for her just around the corner. Talk about a tragic plot twist. Her guards screamed to save her, but destiny had already sharpened its cruel blade. They found her cold and alone in her chambers. Panic erupted as servants scrambled, desperately howling for a doctor. Too little, too late. 4 years into a cursed marriage, she collapsed from a mysterious, soul-draining illness. Her spark vanished completely. As winter's chill set in, the maids fought a losing battle to keep her shivering body warm. Then came the red flag, literally. Her maid gasped in horror when our girl started hacking up mouthfuls of blood. Her silk handkerchief was stained a gruesome crimson. The end was near, and there was absolutely no turning back now. Lost in a fever dream, she begged Kina to find her husband and her dear friend Laurie. Oh, the irony. With her last ounce of strength, she gasped out her final wishes. Suddenly, the dynamic duo of betrayal burst in. They stormed the room, calling her name with fake concern. The poor maid tried to explain the grim situation. Too late for a miracle. Callian put on an Oscar-worthy performance, squeezing out crocodile tears for his dying wife. He kicked the maid out for some private time. Talk about suspicious. The maid was stunned, weren't they grieving together? He claimed he needed a final intimate goodbye. Theft, more like he wanted to gloat without any witnesses around. Alone at last, they stood over her broken body, putting on a sickening show of fake pity and sorrow. Larry wailed like a professional mourner, grabbing Sereniel's hand just to make sure the pulse had finally stopped. The mask slipped fast. She told her lover to pinch the bestie's nose just to confirm she wasn't faking it. She was obsessed with confirming the kill. But Callian was already bored with the whole dying wife drama. Is this really necessary? He yawned. After all, the doctors were coming soon to sign the death warrant anyway. Laurie snapped back, worried she might still be kicking. To him, our girl was less than a speck of dust. The jerk refused to touch her bloody body, casually mentioning that the poison had finally done its dirty work. They were the killers, obviously. Her blood wasn't toxic, but to them it was just gross. How charming. Surprise, Sereniel heard every single word. She couldn't process the absolute audacity of this ultimate heartless betrayal. Her life was dismantled by her favorite people while they bickered like a married couple over her. Cooling corpse. Call the doctor now, Larry barked. She was done playing nurse and wanted to get on with her new life. She'd been counting down the days for this murder. And that actually made Callian give her a creepy smile. Don't sweat it, babe, he cooed. Now it's just us and our secret little bundle of joy. Talk about a twisted family goal. Sereniel's soul shattered as she realized her loved ones were actually monsters. They'd been playing her for years. And there's more. Callian was finally bringing his secret son, Benny, out of hiding. The kid was turning 7 at the palace. Translation? She'd been the world's biggest chump for 7 whole years. What a total scam. Before exiting, he told Larry to back away from the trash lying on the bed. He called her bad luck. Ouch. The weight of this massive backstab was finally crushing our poor heroine's spirit. Callian smirked while faking a sob, while Laurie literally grinned at her best friend's lifeless face. Yikes. She taunted the body. Did you really never notice us sneaking around behind your back? How dense. Remember that special fertility tea from the letter? Yeah, that was just a one-way ticket to the afterlife. She drank that poison every day like a good girl. Laurie couldn't believe how easy it was to trick her. The puzzle pieces finally clicked the tea was toxic. But Sereniel still couldn't fathom why her friend did it. What did she do to deserve this? The red-headed snake didn't show an ounce of guilt as she leaned in. I never actually liked you, she hissed. Their friendship started when Laurie first waltzed into the palace. Little Sereniel just wanted a playmate. But Larry had been harboring a grudge since their very first meeting. She felt beneath her and was convinced Sereniel was just a snob looking down from her high horse. She hated being the inferior one, yet spent years playing the role of the loyal, pure saint. All that kindness was a total sham. Behind that fake smile, her bestie was nothing but a bottomless pit of envy. Hate was her only legacy as her life's fire finally went out. Smirking, Laurie sneered that Sereniel was just borrowing her toy, Kellyanne. Imagine thinking that trash actually belonged to you. How cute! Send me a thank you note from hell, she whispered with a chilling wink. Your own terminal case of stupidity was the real murder weapon here. Her heart shattered. The man she adored was just a hollow, loveless fraud. Being played like a fiddle felt pathetic. Was this her tragic finale? Sweet lies bombarded her. Every "I love you" was just toxic sugarcoating. Her sanity snapped as her best friend's mask finally slipped off. Every shared laugh was just another punchline at her expense. They were literally killing her while laughing at her pathetic gullibility. Betrayal burned, but her stubborn soul refused to simply roll over. I'm not dying today. I'm going to make those two rot in misery. God, if you're not busy, give me one more shot at this. And just like that, she was negotiating with the dangerously handsome Duke Lexian. Kellyan, he's yesterday's trash. I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. The Duke sighed. Honey, you clearly don't know how a real contract works. In this game, it's not about your offer, it's about my deepest hunger. She blinked. Okay, pretty boy, stop being cryptic and spill it. Lexian smirked. I'll help you, but the price is very personal. I have 2 specific cravings, and you're going to fulfill both. Dump that loser and stay by my side for eternity. Deal? Her brain short-circuited. Did I stutter? The Duke teased, leaning in close. He wanted all of her. His voice felt like a velvet trap. Suddenly, memories of that freezing, final night came rushing back like ice. As the life left her, the hideous, unvarnished truth finally stood tall. She'd been the world's most gullible wife while they played house together. They took her crown, her wealth, and then her very breath. She was the punchline in a sick drama, the world's most pathetic lead. A soft-hearted fool in a story written by villains. How tragic. Death's abyss tried to claim her, but her spite burned much hotter. I'll take it all back, every single thing they stole. She roared. Suddenly gasped, she bolted upright in her own warm, plush bed. No blood. No stabs. Just the frantic pounding of her still-beating heart. What the heck just happened? She laughed through a flood of tears. Creak, good morning, madam. Did you have sweet dreams? Kina chirped. Sereniel froze. Hearing that voice was like a miracle from above. Seeing her loyal nanny alive was the best gift she'd ever received. Kina started her usual routine until she saw Sereniel's tear-stained face. She tackled Kina in a massive hug, sobbing like a lost child. I'm really back, she wailed, leaving poor Kina completely and utterly baffled. Outside, the garden sparkled with the kind of light you only see in movies. In her dying moments, she thought she'd never see another petal bloom. 4 years! She'd actually jumped 4 years back into the past. Kina soon found her daydreaming and handed her a box of fresh petals. She held out the gift from friend Laurie, a box of pure trauma. Sereniel knew that scent anywhere. The maid's words only confirmed the trap. The excuse? Health tea to help the poor Vicomtesse finally conceive. Apparently, Larry was worried since no baby arrived after 1 year. Even the clueless maid praised Larry's kindness. Talk about a bad joke. As Canna prepped the tea, Sereniel's eyes flared with pure, icy tension. Suddenly, she snatched the jar, screaming like she'd seen a ghost. Refusing a single drop, she gave Kina a secret, desperate mission instead. Take this gift to the market, she ordered, shocking the poor maid. Instead of explaining the drama, she told Kina to find a specific merchant. Her father's old contact needed to expose the poison hidden inside. Kina trembled. Wouldn't this look like they were doubting Lady Larry? Sereniel didn't care. Just tell them your mistress ordered it, she snapped. Keep it secret. With that, she turned her back on Kina's questions. She promised to return by sunset before vanishing into the morning air. Not a word to my husband, she warned, slipping out of the palace. Her final chilling order, never touch those flowers with your bare hands. Confused but obedient, the maid watched the carriage roll away. Was this regression, God's grace, or a divine prank? She still couldn't tell. Maybe the devil's joke? Either way, she was alive and breathing. With this second life, she'd never play the fool for that man again. Cloaked in mystery, our girl arrived at her destination looking like a queen. Leaving the coachman behind, she ventured alone into the quiet village. This was the place Kellyan bought for their supposed mining business. She recalled his sugary lies when she first questioned the purchase. He claimed he wanted special memories there so she wouldn't feel lonely. He'd said the mansion was a cage, yet he kept her locked away. In a year of marriage, she'd never visited once. Too busy, he'd say. Now she knew the dark truth behind why he'd hidden this place. Peering from the shadows, her heart stopped at the sight of a child. "Daddy!" The boy cried as Callian played Father of the Year, a living, breathing monument to his betrayal. The toddler tripped suddenly. "Careful, champ," Callian teased. If only he cared for his wife that much. The kid was fine, but Sereniel's world was shattering into a million pieces. Then the mother appeared, telling little Benny to mind his father. They looked like a perfect, cozy family from a distance. How sickening. It was like a cheesy commercial, triggering her horrific deathbed memories. Her husband had promised his mistress peace once Sereniel was finally dead. A real family of 3. The ultimate insult to her dying ears. She'd tried to deny the cruelty until seeing it with her own eyes. She'd hoped her mind was playing tricks, but the truth was undeniable. How could she be so blind? That boy was already 2 years old. He'd been cheating since before their wedding. She never had a chance. Suddenly, a maid approached the happy trio with urgent news. A suspicious carriage was nearby. Callian ran to scold the intruder. "I shouldn't be here," he barked. The man just smirked. "Actually, you were summoned." His "I got lost" excuse was pathetic. It only made the Duke's blood boil hotter. "Lost? In this neighborhood? Don't make me laugh." He roared in total disbelief. "Get out now," he snarled. Talk about suspicious as panic was a total dead giveaway. Phew. Thank goodness she told the coachman to keep his mouth shut about this secret trip. Reality hit her like a truck. She fought the tears, drowning in a whirlpool of heartbreak. She collapsed quietly, hiding her pain as the heavens started weeping right along with her. Snapping out of her trance, Sereniel wandered into the rain, searching for her ride home. Her aching heart burned. How could the people she loved be such absolute monsters? She felt like a total fool. How did she miss the cheating red flags waving everywhere? Maybe Lorraine was right. Was she really just a naive, dim-witted viscountess after all? Did being clueless justify this humiliation? Was she seriously the one to blame for this? Clatter, a carriage stopped right beside her. Her driver was supposed to be miles away. The door flew open, and the VIP emerged with an umbrella. Surprise, not her carriage. Not exactly the best weather for a stroll, is it? The handsome stranger teased playfully. It was the legendary Lexian. He shielded her from the rain, looking for a sassy answer. They were no strangers, but why was this high and mighty duke lurking in the slums? If Mr. Important gets involved, my messy life is going to turn into a full-blown disaster. Time to pivot, just taking care of some official business, she lied, avoiding his gaze. He didn't buy it. She turned away, offering a polite, if totally awkward farewell. Goodbye, she bolted. But he stopped her cold. You know, this place is crawling with thugs. A delicate lady alone in a dangerous alley? Are you asking for trouble, my lady? That stopped her. Before she could blink, he was ushering her into his luxury carriage. Talk about pushy. She climbed in anyway. Maybe his delicate lady logic actually made sense. Plus, being more suspicious was a bad idea. Just enjoy the free ride, she thought. Easier said than done. Why did this carriage feel so small? Where's the personal space? It was a tight squeeze. Their knees were literally touching. Is it getting hot in here? Every bump in the road was a mini heart attack. To kill the silence, the Duke spoke. What's a Viscount's daughter doing in a dump like this? He asked. Wait, Viscount? A Count's daughter? She blinked. Then, like a lightning bolt, a memory finally clicked. He used her maiden name. That is weird. Does he not know she's already married? She played it cool. Like I said, Duke, I just took a wrong turn heading home. It's nothing, she shrugged. He smirked. Nothing? I can think of exactly one reason. A drenched woman acting this shady? There is only one explanation for such a drama. Rude! But he kept going. Let me guess. There is a man behind those tears, right? He leaned in, giving her the confess already look. Am I right or am I right? Callion's place is just around the corner, isn't it? He prodded, plain detective. He didn't even wait for a reply. Perfect spot for a secret tryst, don't you think? Sereniel gripped her skirt until her knuckles turned white. Stay firm. Don't let him win. Did you pick me up just to interrogate me with these rude questions, Your Grace? Even if there's a man, it's none of your business. Stop being such a meddler. For the last time, I was here, on business. She insisted, her face flushing red. Lexian just chuckled. Sweetheart, you're a terrible liar. Give it up already. People don't usually do business while crying their eyes out in the rain, you know? She froze. He saw her crying. The rest of the ride was pure awkward silence. Arriving at her palace, she thanked him for the lift, taking a second to offer a polite apology. After all, she'd been a bit of a brat, especially since this was literally their first time meeting. Since night was falling, she told him to get home safe, but Lexian cut her off mid-sentence. He dropped a bombshell. This wasn't their first encounter. Our girl was left totally speechless and surprised. He teased that she'd simply forgotten him before pivoting to a heavy question. Was she actually happy? The sudden vibe shift made zero sense to Sereniel, but he just repeated the question anyway. He made it clear this wasn't small talk. He needed her to give him a brutally honest answer. Happiness? What a joke. The only thing filling her soul right now was pure, agonizing darkness. Pretending to be happy would mean she'd lost her mind. Her rage kept her from even sleeping. That was her pathetic reality. Just picturing her trash husband and Lori made her blood boil. Instantly, even that innocent child was just another source of constant, stinging pain for poor Sereniel. She didn't even need to speak. Her white-knuckled, clenched fists told the whole tragic story. And he was being for real when he said he understood her situation perfectly well. He didn't push it, though. He told her to go rest, promising they'd meet again very soon. Whether she liked it or not, he vanished into the night, leaving her frozen like a statue. Inside the castle, Kina was practically vibrating with relief to see her mistress finally return home. The maid was frantic since she was super late, forcing the girl to offer a soft apology. But wait, she was soaking wet. Kina immediately asked what on earth had happened to her. Sereniel promised to spill the tea later, but for now, she just needed a massive nap. Kina went into full mom mode, scurrying to prep dry clothes and a hot meal immediately. But our girl wasn't interested. She only had one specific task for her loyal maid. She needed Kina to tell her dear husband she wasn't feeling well. But there was a catch. Lori was already at the palace. Kina nearly fainted. Surely she hadn't heard that correctly. Turns out, she came with the Viscount. The two of them wanted a pleasant family dinner. The sheer audacity. They were literally playing house together in her own freaking home. It felt like a physical blow. Kina admitted she'd told Kellyanne about her little city trip. She'd used her health as a cover story for why she'd run off to the Count's city. It was a solid excuse. Sereniel thanked her, already planning her next move to her uncle's. Back in her room, Kina asked if she really wanted to excuse herself from the two traitors. Plot twist, Sereniel changed her mind. Kiana, get my best dress ready. We're going down. Before heading out, the maid pointed out she'd hidden that secret item in the drawer. Feelings? Irrelevant. Now, the only thing on her mind was a cold, delicious dish of revenge. She grabbed the secret envelope. Should she blow their little affair wide open right this second? Lori was just a commoner playing with fire. Sleeping with a noble? That's a one-way ticket to prison. She decided to consult her uncle first to ensure these two snakes were truly crushed for good. A noise made her hide the evidence fast. Enter the couple of the year, Kellyanne and Lori. They acted all concerned about her late return, claiming they'd been worried sick about her. Sereniel flashed a fake, pageant-ready smile, apologizing for giving them such a fright. She suggested they must be starving and invited them to the dining room. Everything was perfect. They sat across from her, the air thick with tension until Lore finally opened her mouth. "Did you get that tea I sent?" Lore asked. Instantly, internal sirens started screaming in Sereniel's head. Acting all sweet, Lore insisted the tea was medicine to help our girl feel better. She kept pushing it, emphasizing that she must drink it every single day without fail. Sereniel's hands shook with rage. She had to snap out of it before they noticed her glitching. She pivoted fast, thanking them for the thoughtful gift, while her stomach did total backflips. She practically shoved her. Sereniel set off Lore's alarm bells. So she pivoted to her dear husband. Asking about his business almost made him gag on his steak. Our girl's a witty queen. She shifted gears effortlessly, blaming her worried uncle. Apparently, the man was playing hard to get. Too busy for inspections, he dodged the question. Callian insisted everything was totally fine, darling. The mine was perfect. He promised to call soon talk about a lying, two-faced prince. "Don't bother," she cooed. "I'll handle it." She just wanted the tea on the mine's current status. Callian looked weirdly insulted at the audacity. But Sereniel stood her ground with a sweet, dangerous smile. She needed to track her own assets. After all, she's the true boss around here. Post-tragedy, her only legacy was a mine that was suddenly the talk of the entire town. Callian dedicated his whole life to it. How noble. Or just incredibly greedy of him. Doubters called it unstable, but that mine held a secret worth a legendary king's ransom. Rare magic crystals meant big bucks. Her crew worked 24/7 to dig up those riches. The loot started pouring in. Sereniel's bank account was finally about to hit the jackpot. No way she would let that leech enjoy the spoils alone. It was time for a takeover. She would fix this mess, fire her husband, and burn his petty world to the ground. He and Lore would lose everything. The man actually had the nerve to start an argument. He claimed she was too cute for business. Even with his help, she would never understand. He thought she was clueless. Surprise! Her icy comeback left him shivering before Lore chimed in. "Let her do the paperwork," Lore suggested, so her secret boyfriend could manage more. "How helpful!" She teased Sereniel for playing secretary just to help the biz. What a devoted, tragic wife. Clearly she loved the Viscount. Lore gushed about how lucky Callian truly was to have her. To have a wife like her? Callian smugly agreed. He really was a fortunate guy. Oh, so lucky. But in Sereniel's eyes, there was zero charm. It was actually pretty gross. Their fake smiles were nauseating. How could they be so vile? Suddenly, she spoke her mind. "Hand over the files tomorrow," she commanded, using Lore's own words as a clever trap. She would lighten his load. Thank goodness that awkward fake dinner was finally over. Alone at last? Keeping a poker face around those two snakes was becoming absolutely exhausting. Hiding her pure disgust was hard work. Solitude was her only sanctuary now, but this was just the prologue. Sereniel had one certainty. She would not be the first to fall. Survival was her only option. She grabbed the secret letter again. It read like a nightmare. "I tell you face to face, but time's ticking. That tea you sent for analysis, it is bad news. It is a lethal cocktail of several poisons." Sereniel scanned the report with a grim, cold face. No scent, no taste, the perfect invisible killer. Once it enters the body, you are finished. It vanishes into the blood. No traces, no antidote. A total and inescapable death trap. Small doses over time make it a silent execution. Nobody would ever suspect a thing. It was a masterpiece of murder, perfectly blended to be hidden in her daily brew. She recalled Lore's fake affection, pushing that demonic beverage on her every single day. That is why she was so insistent. Constant sipping meant a slow, agonizing, and quiet end. Lungs fail first, then your organs rot. Sereniel crushed the paper in her trembling fist. She did not need a report to know the truth. She had already lived through it. She recalled her friends' dying words, the ultimate betrayal she would never, ever forget.